Hey everybody, welcome back to Tecmo 101, getting you ready for the Tecmo Players Championship every April in Chicago. We're going over matchups for all the teams to help prepare because of the matchup restriction in Division 1. Today we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, David Fulcher, and Boomer Esiason, James Brooks. And we're going to go over some Bengals matchups. Right now, I'm going to show you David Fulcher in action against one of the team's best matchups against the Detroit Lions. We'll have Detroit go into a passing play, and I'm going to try to pick them off. Let's see. And that's why David Fulcher is such a big advantage. He's got the numbers and the juice to be able to pull off stuff like that. All right, let me turn it off and go into the Cincinnati Bengals. And we're going to start with, of course, the guy we just talked about, David Fulcher. 69 maximum speed, 69 interceptions, 75 hitting power. So he's a beast as well in another aspect, in the run game as well. Quickness is a virtually meaningless stat we don't go much into. The rushing power of 56 is a plus, and so is the running speed. What it means is David Fulcher is probably the best overall safety in the game. Now, I mean, there are other great safeties. Mark Carrier has more interceptions, and Joey Browner is on the same level on Minnesota. But David Fulcher is probably the best of the safeties. Notice I said safeties, not quarterbacks, where Haddix is the best. Okay. Now, going into this matchup against Detroit. Detroit, of course, Barry Sanders, great running game. Quarterbacks who are fast, but as you can see on each quarterback, they don't have a lot of pass control. That means they have to be real careful. You're going to get that JJINT animation I just produced there. Mel Gray, another great running back. Not the greatest of offensive line to set up this running game. On defense, they are okay. William White is a good safety, just not a great one. And they got a decent weapon here at LB1 and Coffer. Jerry Ball is one of the best nose tackles if you're playing hardcore. We're not in this tournament. But he can come in handy even in this format with that 69 hitting power. Cool thing about the Bengals, though, you've got a balanced offense with a 56 pass control QB. James Brooks, 56 MS. And then, let's see. We got Icky Woods as your kick returner. 81 hitting power.
Never put him at kick returner.
Yeah, Lewis has got a point there. He might fumble on you. Yeah, that's the one thing to be careful. I want to get into with the Bengals. We got 38. We got slow receivers and a team that may have a fumbling problem, but they have the advantage of a 56 MS running back and a quarterback with a lot of pass control. All right, and now moving onwards, we have, let's get Lewis in the screen as he's going to help me go over these. So on defense, of course, the only thing is that on defense, they don't really have a lot besides Barnyard Bussy. Not really a lot. So basically, as Cincinnati versus Detroit, you can take down the running game with David Fulcher, and then you're hoping to get a few JJINTs and some mistakes in the passing game. Another good matchup for Cincinnati to go over with is versus Chicago. Now this time, it's almost the same exact thing, except for the quarterbacks aren't mobile on Chicago. And the only thing you have to be careful about is throwing it into Mark Carrier's hands with Boomer and a JJINT. Otherwise, Chicago's a team that's actually pretty good to run on. James Brooks can have a good game. Just make sure you get out of bounds, right, Lou?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you get out of bounds, especially with the Bengals. And then on defense as well, Neil Anderson at receiver, he's not going to have as effective a game going up against David Fulcher. And then if you contain the running game, there's really not much at quarterback here to be too worried about. Last but not least, our last Cincinnati matchup to go over is against the Miami Dolphins. Now, this is the opposite theory. Here we have the passing team. So David Fulcher and Barney Bussy in coverage are going to have to do a lot more in this matchup. At the same time, Dan Marino doesn't throw the JJ pass as good, so at times he can be inaccurate on deep throws, and you could take advantage of that by shutting down his pass game at times. And he's a slow quarterback again who isn't as mobile. His running game is not as great, and you should be able to contain that throughout parts of the game. On defense, they have good safeties, but not overpowering safeties. And if you can work your way down the field, because that's the key to being the Bengals, is to work drives down the field because you don't have a big weapon at receiver. And if you can take advantage of Boomer's strength, which is he's going to be accurate and he's going to be able to be a little bit mobile, you can take advantage of that in all these games. That's how you won the Bengals. Just you keep the ball on the ground and you get out of bounds. Make sure you get out of bounds. And like Lewis said, maybe don't put Icky Woods at kick returner. Anyway,
you probably should, but that's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah, I actually like putting James Brooks at kick returner, but I find he fumbles just as much. Yeah, it's just the team's a little snake bit, but besides that, so they have when you get to their strengths, that they're just a time possession offense, and you can run the ball, and you can be conservative in the pass game and take advantage of open receivers. They have great games. All right, that's our Cincinnati Bengals video. Coming up with more throughout the week.